Good day, Junior Tikkies. I'm Mrs. Brimacombe. We're going to look now at activity 2. Draw up the trial balance and calculate the capital figure using the information provided. So they've given you a list of balances and totals, and capital has a question mark, which means that the question mark, we need to solve it right at the end. So take note the different ways in which the trial balance could be asked, and this really tests, do you understand the basics? Do you understand the classifications of accounts? Where does it increase? Where does it decrease? What goes into the balance sheet account section? What will go into the nominal account section? So step number 1 is I'm going to look at these lists of balances and totals given, and I'm going to sort them out. And starting with capital. Capital is regarded as a owner's equity account, fee income, consumables, expense, equipment, non-current asset, drawings, owner's equity, rates and taxes, and expense, land and building, non-current asset, stationery, and expense, wages, and expense, rent income, and income. Bank, it has an unfavorable bank balance, which means this is regarded as a current liability. Telephone is an expense. So this is the important step to understand, and knowing where does it increase and where does it decrease. Remember when we did the first activity and we looked at the format of our trial balance, I said to you, owner's equity, capital, C for credit, drawings, D for debit. All assets will appear on the debit side. It increases on the debit side. All liabilities will appear on the credit side. It increases on the credit side. All income will appear on the credit side, and expenses will appear on the debit side. So make sure that you understand that. If you get this right, then you will get the trial balance 100% correct. So we start now with the balance sheet account section, and the first part that we look at is our owner's equity, our direct owner's equity. That means capital, account number, B1. So we need to number each one of them. Remember, it is a question mark, which means we need to solve it right at the end. Next, drawings, account number B2. Drawings, D4, debit, 17,300. Then we look now at our next step, which goes into the balance sheet section, is we look for all our assets, and we start with our non-current assets. So you would notice there are 2 non-current assets. If you swap those 2 around, it doesn't matter as long as it's in the balance sheet account section that you've mentioned it on the correct side, which is on the debit side. So I'm going to start with the first one, land and buildings, account number B3, 250,000. Equipment, account number B4, 80,000. Then we said, bank, don't just assume that it is a current asset. It's only if it has a favorable bank balance. Here they specifically said unfavorable. So now we're moving on to our liabilities, and we've got bank, account number B5 on the credit side, 13,470. Now we've done all our balance sheet account section, owner's equity, assets and liabilities. Next step is the nominal account section, which means we look at all our income and all our expenses. We start with the first one, which is fee income. On the credit side, account number N1, 68,000. There's another income, rent income, 36,000, account number N2. Consumables, account number N3, 500. Rates and taxes, account number N4, 3,750 on the debit side. Remember, all expenses will appear on the debit side. Stationery, account number N5, 8,756. Wages, account number N6, 20,000. Telephone, account number N7, 6,270. Once now we've taken all these list of balances and totals, it means that we now need to total the debit and the credit. Again, we start with all the figures on the debit side and we total every single one of them. If I add everything on the credit side, you will see that's not going to total the 390,556. And why not? Remember, there's a figure that we need to calculate, which is capital. So now you need to understand the basics, but the debit should be equal to the credit side. And now we're working backwards, upwards, and we take 390,556 minus equals the capital amount, which will now be the balancing figure. Hope you have a better understanding of the trial balance. Remember that the trial balance, we get the information from the general ledger. That is the next step. Thank you very much. I want to leave you with this quote. The key to success is to focus on goals and not obstacles. Have a wonderful day.